Hey guys, welcome to Module 5. In this module, we will be building the scrolling LED. So we will be setting up 5 LEDs that will blink one after another. And then what we need for this is 5 LEDs, 5 resistors, and then 6 jumper cables and obviously the boards. So let's hop into the whiteboard real quick and show you how to wire this up. So in this one, we need 5 LEDs set up in an array like this. It's actually very easy to work with this. All we need to do now is add our resistors. And these are all going to be 220. Then we're going to take this, connect all of these here to our breadboard on the ground pin. And then we need to connect these all to inputs. So we're going to go from input 7 all the way down to 3. And now we have wired up an array of LEDs, and then now we can control however we want. Welcome back. Let's get building. Now that we have everything wired up correctly, let's go ahead and hop in the computer and create the code.
Alright, let's go ahead and program up some scrolling LEDs here. So one trick that you can do, if you have like a timer that's all the way around your code and throughout your code, which we're going to have to use for the scrolling LED here, you can actually just assign it as an int as well up here. So that all you have to do is change this time right here, and then it's going to go ahead and make that change throughout your code for you. So you don't have to keep going through and changing that. Anyways, a little trick. So what we have to do here in the setup here is you're going to need to do pin mode and then pin 1 output. Right, but this is going to kind of be really annoying because essentially what we're going to do is, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's make like a whole bunch of these because we have a whole bunch of pins. So a little trick that you can do as well is if you've got all of them set up the same way, is you can run some code like this. Oops. So starting with pin 3, and a for loop is it's always going to run until the conditions are met. So that's what a for loop is. So for this pin, we're just going to use this pin, is 3. It starts with 3, and then this pin is less than 8. So this allows us to grab all of ours right away. And then what you're going to need is this pin plus plus. So what this condition is, so for, and then this value, and then this condition, and then what's going to happen every time it runs the for loop. So this is really, really interesting code here. So this pin starting with 3, and then if it's less than 8, it's going to keep adding 1 to this value. So every time it runs this code, it's going to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because it's adding 1 to this. So that's what plus plus means, is just adding 1. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little cheat here and just do pin mode, this pin, and then we're output. So essentially setting all of those to an output, and just by using some quick code like this, and do not forget your semicolons. That's very important. The only time you do not use them is on these like loops like this. You will not use semicolons there at the end, just for these statements. So there we've declared all of our pins that we're going to be using as outputs, so 3 through 8 essentially. Alright, next what we need to do is go into the loop down here. This is where our main code goes, as it says, and we're going to actually just use this code again because it allows us to select all of our pins. And essentially what we're going to be doing is just turning one on each at a time. So take this code out, not use this one in the middle. And we need to do digital write this pin. So whatever pin number we're on at the time, high. And then delay And we're going to use the timer variable that we set up here. So that way we don't have to keep changing it in the code. And then, again, oh, forget the semicolon. And then digital write, this pin low. So essentially what we just did is for each one of these, we're going to cycle through them, turn them on, wait half a second, and then turn them off for every single one of our pins. So this will work for counting up, but once we hit 8, it's going to stop counting. It's going to be like, all right, now we're done, right? So we need to count backwards. So I'm just going to take this, duplicate, and then what we need to do is we need to start with 7 because it's essentially 3 through 7, and then take this and then lower this one to 3. I'm just going to do. Equals 2. So yeah, if it equals 3, then it's going to stop running this. And instead of plus plus, we're going to do minus minus. So this way it goes through all the pins and then turns on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, and then it gets to the last pin, and then it's going to reverse the whole thing because it's going to run this code instead of this code because it doesn't fit these conditions. So it's going to keep running this one. All right, let's go ahead and upload this. And we have an issue. So what's the issue? This pin was not declared in the scope. So as you guys saw, I struggled with this for a minute. So the issue is I've completely missed my open brackets here. So these were not actually grabbing correctly at all, and everything was really confused. So whenever you have errors like this and you need to debug it, just always look at your syntax and see if you have any errors. It's just small like this, right? It's not a code error. It's just a forgot spot or forgot, like this is what happens if you forget a semicolon. It's going to be like, oh, okay. And it doesn't really know where to stop. So it's not good at pointing out where the issue is. So just make sure your code looks good. And yeah, that's how you debug, because I showed you guys. So yeah, always check when you have issues like this. It's nice because it highlights for you. Right here, so you can see it highlighted. It's like, all right, so it's that one. So if I was missing one here, I can just click on this, and I can see like, oh wait, that should be for the loop. So some debugging tricks. I hope you guys don't have to do too much debugging. And go and upload it, and then yeah, there we go. We're done uploading. So this will work. See it.
There we go. Now we have scrolling LEDs. We can again change the timer at the top and maybe slow things down a bit. And there we go. All right, see you guys in the next one.